Being present now. This is a real skills workshop for energy savvy. And what I mean by that, I'm Rick from Thriving Now, is that I believe that in the present moment, the now, there's a multitude, a magnificent spectrum of things that are happening in energy space within us, around us, and in those that we're connected to. And part of thriving, I believe, is developing more of the capacity to be skillful with that truth. For me, it's a truth in the moment. And I'm here co-creating with Kathy Bartuli from Thriving Now and the Intimacy Dojo. And yet, I wonder, Kathy, there is good juju available here and now. Why do we spend so much of our awareness elsewhere, in the past, in the future, in kind of disconnected?
I wonder about that because I think that there's a lot of socialization that goes on. I remember watching Indira when she was very little, Rick's daughter, and she would just she'd find something and she'd be so fascinated. She'd be really into whatever that was, tasting it and touching it and examining it. I think that as a society, we're not often taught how to be with what is. Our society teaches us to medicate or distract ourselves away from things, to run away from the feelings that we don't want to feel. And so we never really develop, and please, I think Rick and Jem are amazing parents, and Adir is much more mindful than a lot of people. But there's also there's TV, there's ways to escape these bad feelings that are really intense sometimes. And we learn the habit of avoiding them. And when we get good at avoiding things, we are avoiding the moment right now. We don't build the muscles for comfort or for feeling the discomfort. And I'm not saying we have to wallow in the pain. Like if I have a headache, I take some Advil. That's not a problem. But I think we're really good at not being here and now. We're somewhere in the future. We feel anxious and worried about the future. We're reminiscing about the past. Oh, I should have said that. How could they do that to me? Or we're avoiding what's happening now. We're either distracting ourselves by thinking about other things, or we're actually pretending. We delude ourselves about what is actually happening because we don't want to face anything right now. And I think the more I can be in the moment now with myself, the more fulfilled I feel. Like there's just sitting and watching a flower for 2 minutes. I'm like, wow, all that stress went away and I feel really nourished by the experience. Whereas if I was rushing around with my Facebook or whatever, I would just feel kind of frenetic a little bit. So I think that we're kind of conditioned not to be here in the now, and we're not really given the skills. So if you're here, I think this is just a really beautiful place to look at this. And even if you already practice already, we're let's look at it in different ways and maybe hear different ways we might be seeing different perspectives on how we're avoiding the present. Because I keep finding out more ways I do it. And I'm always like, I thought I had this all understood. Wait, I do that too. So even if if you're doing a lot of daily practice, if you have challenges coming up, like someone said, restricted breathing often is anxiety. And then we struggle with it. What do you think?
Well, it does happen unconsciously. We have wiring that's designed to, by default, take care of us, protect us. So if there's an emotion that any of us tend to want to avoid, it's just not something that we feel savvy with. That's why I called it, emotional savvy, energy savvy, is that I don't know any human that doesn't have that. I can tell you, having observed her for nearly 5 years, that my daughter likes to avoid the feeling of boredom. I don't know what to do.
I've heard that refrain when I was visiting 20 times in a
I don't know. Well, how about this? I don't know what to do, right? She does know what will help her avoid that feeling. And that's like watching a show on television or doing some schoolwork on her iPad. And that uncomfortable feeling of not knowing what to do, on one hand, there's, and I think that this is one of the key points that I would have all of us think about, is that in the present moment, there are multiple cups and tanks and chalices and septic tanks. Right? And so I can look at this and be aware that if she doesn't know what to do, that in that now, there's an opportunity for her to go deeper and to feel, well, what would actually be pleasing to me right now?
Mhm.
There's a pathway into presence that if, and sometimes she follows this and she can do it like, I don't know what, and she won't even finish the sentence. She's dropped in and she now knows exactly,
Sometimes.
I'm going to paint. And sometimes she's stuck in that uncomfortable loop and wants to avoid it. And so acknowledging that, you know, a 5-year-old has it, a 60-plus-year-old has it, across the spectrum, this is a really powerful human experience to have a state of our being that we're just really uncomfortable with, brings up stuff. For some people, it's anger. And for some people, it's powerlessness. Like, oh, I'm not actually able to shift this situation in a way that I would really like to. Um, and so if we're going to be present now, there's I I'm going to, if I've been kind of checked out, to use that, or calling it in, or dissociated or distracted, um, by something that really, it's just not all that much a yes for me. It's a yes in the sense of it feels better to be distracted by it than to be with the uncomfortable feeling. As we come back, this is where tapping really can help. And we're going to do some of this. Is I'm going to be noticing first, because my primitive brain gets first crack. It just does. We're all wired that way. Now, the first crack might be a millisecond or two, or 100 or 100 hours, but like how much your primitive brain holds on to, what it perceives, depends. And we cultivate, the skill of being, yes, I've got a primitive brain that's picking this up, and what else? And what else is a big part of the real skill. It says, yes, I'm angry, and wow, I'm free to not actually to do anything about it right now. So I'm angry about this situation. Maybe I can't do anything about it right now. But guess what? I'm also free enough to sit and be like, oh, I actually don't have to write an email. I don't have to text back. I don't have to quit my job. I don't have to. Wow, I have some freedom going on here. At least for the next few moments, I'm free to not have to. Now, as a freedom oriented person, there is a cup called Don't Have To, which is important for me. And part of presencing can be like, there's this, but I actually don't have to. And energetically, in that move, which sometimes helps with tapping, I'm moving out of my primitive brain, which is very much fight, flight, freeze, flee, fawn, um, into I can be here now, right? Because if I don't have to act on it, I can be here now. That's doesn't happen by default in my nervous system. It's now 1,000 times easier than it was.
We start creating our own neural pathways over time.
Create our neural pathways and presence, which is like, oh, my breathing's constricted. Oh, I'm wanting to check out on my phone. Oh, that's where the pause comes in. We did a whole workshop on the powerful pause. If taking a pause is hard for you, that might be a great workshop to add to your skill set. But the presence is, to me, where the primitive brain can be activated, but it's not driving everything. And there's an awareness that grows of some freedom, and some other things that end up serving us in that.
I'd like to share what you just shared from a slightly different perspective. It's the same concept, but it's one that's really helped me. Sometimes what we're feeling is an indicator light. So Adira says she doesn't know what to do when she probably wants to avoid something. She wants to be entertained out of it. I have a tendency to feel guilty if there's something I want to do. So if I feel guilt, I'm like, for a long time, it was guilt. Oh, I must be bad. Obviously, I'm a bad person. I'm feeling guilt. It's true. But over time, I've learned I feel guilty when I want something that I maybe don't think that I should have. My primitive brain thinks that it's not okay to have. I learned when I was little to not ask for too much. Like it was too much of a burden for my family. So now when I feel guilt, my first reaction is, oh, I'm a bad, horrible person. And then like, oh, wait, I learned something new. What was that? Oh, probably want something. It doesn't mean I get that necessarily, but if we go into our primitive brain and like someone shared, like uncertainty is hard to be with. It really is. Often we will decide in our intellectual brain what something means. Like I decide guilt means I'm a bad person. I have neural pathways for that. They go really fast. Just being with the unknown, I'm feeling some feelings. Can I be curious about them? Can I just be with them without immediately deciding what they mean? Because we get these old ruts and there are ways to avoid what we're actually experiencing. We've decided often when we were 2, 3, 4, 5, what this particular experience meant. And we jump into it and we just follow that loop as never being like, what is new about this? So choosing to not know and then just witness what's going on can really open things up. So what Rick was saying about the primitive brain is absolutely true. The primitive brain wants to avoid things. It's trying to keep us safe. We build these ruts. Certain feelings mean certain things. We just follow it around. So if you feel uncertainty, your primitive brain could jump in and say, I'm not safe. I don't know what to do. Pointing some fingers back at me. I must know what to do. I must decide right this minute how to fix it. And I'm going to run away from this feeling because uncertainty means I don't feel safe. I don't know what to do. Because when I was little, I was confused at things that were happening and it felt very unsafe. So I want to avoid that feeling versus, I'm feeling uncertain. What's actually going on? Can I just be with this feeling for just a little bit and be curious? And I don't know if that helped, but I thought that the two different perspectives on the same thing might help people see it a little bit differently.
Absolutely. That's why I love co-creating with presence. When you use that example of uncertainty, so you just described like uncertainty is a threat. So if someone who has a primitive brain that says uncertainty is a threat, I must decide, I must know, and I'm going to go do something. I'm going to go hide. I'm going to go escape it, right? Uncertainty is a threat, and I'm going to go escape it. What they've done is, to me, oh, I just became certain. Uncertainty was a threat. I've just become certain that that uncertainty is a threat, and I'm going to go off and do something else.
Okay.
I antidoted it. Okay. And this is how I might tap about that, even though part of me is convinced
Even though part of me is convinced
that uncertainty is a threat.
that uncertainty is a threat,
I can't stay present with it.
I can't stay present with it.
I have to fight it
I have to fight it
or run from it
or run from it
or just check out.
or just check out.
Ah, part of me feels certain I have to do one of those.
Part of me feels certain that I have to do one of those.
What if that's not true?
What if that's not true?
Top of the head. Is that the only way to look at uncertainty?
Is that the only way to look at uncertainty?
Eyebrow. I do have some uncertainty.
I do have some uncertainty.
So do I. Don't tell anyone, but I've always had lots of uncertainty.
I'm telling you, but I've always had lots of uncertainty.
I've always had tons of uncertainty.
I always had tons of uncertainty.
And I'm wise enough to know. And I'm wise enough to know.
And wise enough to know.
And even be certain.
And even be certain.
Hold on. That I'm going to have uncertainty.
That I'm going to have uncertainty.
And that's hard on part of me.
That's hard on part of me.
I wonder if there's any other parts of me.
I wonder if there's any other parts of me.
That when they're present with uncertainty.
That when they're present with uncertainty.
Might even find it intriguing.
Might even find it intriguing.
Now, if you get a strong, that's your primitive brain. It's going to have an opinion on what we're doing. We love our primitive brain. It got us here. If we didn't have it, none of us would be on the call. We'd be a memory. The primitive brain is really useful, and it's a part of this dance. But I see in the uncertainty is hard to be with. If there's a cup in you that wants to live as a wise and powerful human, that statement fits that cup. Uncertainty is hard to be with. Yeah, we're wired to be delusional rather than sitting with uncertainty. Have you ever heard somebody that was arrogantly right about something that you absolutely right? Like, oh, the stock market is going to crash to zero and it's going to happen in October, right? Like they just know it. The uncertainty is impossible for them. So they what do? They jump to a kind of a delusional certainty when, hey, we don't know. It's
Someone asked, what do you mean by uncertainty? And I think that's a great question. I love defining, like, what are we talking about? I think an example might help. There's a lot of polarization in our country about politics and what's right and wrong. And there's often a lot of the news feeds are often full of like outrage. How dare they do this? There's not a lot of uncertainty about it. It's like, no, they're wrong. They're bad. An example, my mom is very upset. She'd heard about the windmills causing a lot of environmental destruction. And she just assumed they were bad. She jumped to that conclusion because she didn't want to be uncertain about it. It felt really uncomfortable to go, I don't know about this. Let me look into it. And I did some research and I said, yeah, there's some times where they can be environmentally impactful. And these are some things that people are trying to do to help mitigate it. So like it's not a black and white answer. There's not a, yes, this is the right way, which is uncomfortable for us. Like we like to have, yeah, I'm 100% good. Those other people are bad. That makes us feel very like righteous and safe in some ways, but it also blocks us from learning more. So I actually just assumed windmills were good. And I did the research for my mom and I'm like, wow, there are places where they're really actually harming the environment. And certain states have put in rules that you can't do this and they have to turn the land back and there have to be room for animals to live in there too. And it was like, oh, wow, if I had been so convinced of my rightness that windmills are good all the time, and my mom and I would just be in conflict because we're just like, oh, she's wrong. Obviously, she's wrong. As opposed to, oh, she was right about some things. I'm right about some things. And we can actually learn and improve the situation. So not knowing if something is good or bad, right or wrong, or what to do next, if we're willing to sit with that for a minute, and it's a skill that we build up over time, if we can be with, I don't actually know the answer to this right now. I'm just going to witness what's happening. I'm going to experience what is going on in my body, the information that's out there. I become wiser. I can take an action that's really aware and loving as opposed to a knee jerk. Like, I need to get away from not knowing. This is terrifying. I need to make a decision right now. I don't know if that helps with the uncertainty definition. I hope it does.
Well, and wise people across all of human history, as far as we can tell, have pointed to uncertainty as one of the things that humans, we have evolved because we don't like uncertainty, right? The temperature inside my house is a lot more certain because I have a heat pump than it would be if I was relying on the weather, because it was sunny a few minutes ago before we started, and now it's cloudy and it looks like it's going to rain.
Kind of working.
And so we can, and this is part of being present is, oh, yeah, being uncertain is hard, but that doesn't make it bad.
Being uncertain is hard, but it doesn't make it bad.
What if I explored some simple uncertainties?
What if I explored some simple uncertainty?
I don't have to jump to the big scary ones.
I don't have to jump to the big scary one.
And my brain might do that.
And my brain wants to do it for sure.
Uncertainty holds the possibility of what? When you actually are with an uncertainty,
I think there's a lot of things we can experience there, that we might be wrong, that we might not have control, that something like someone shared that I'm wrong or bad. Mine is, I'm not smart enough to figure this out. I should already know this.
All of those to me take every single one of those takes us out of the being present now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still either projecting to the future or in the
past. And
past.
Notice how powerful that impulse to go out of, like, oh, I'm wrong. That's not being present with anything, really. It's becoming certain. I'm taking something that's uncomfortable, this feeling of uncertainty, and I'm making it certain by deciding I'm wrong. Okay. Yeah. What freedom possibilities are in uncertainty?
What freedom possibilities are in uncertainty?
How am I free if I'm uncertain?
How am I free if I'm uncertain?
Do I really want a completely certain life?
Do I really want a completely certain life?
If someone had a list of everything I'm going to eat and when,
If someone had a list of what I'm going to eat and when,
and I skipped to the end of the list,
and I skipped to the end of the list,
and it said last meal,
and it said last meal,
and that would be it.
that would be it.
I would have meal certainty for the rest of my day.
And a meal certainty for the rest of my days.
What would I miss?
What would I miss?
What would I hate about that?
What would I hate about that?
And see if you can just be like, we are human, we have to eat. It's an essential survival thing. But there's so much more about eating and cooking and preparing and considering. if somebody gave you a meal plan, it was just, look, that's your meal plan, that's it. You're certain. Uncertainty means that there's something, someone said, that I can learn, right? If I have certainty, then all the questions are answered. Think about it. If you have certainty, then all the questions are answered. Certainty to me says there's a quality of freedom. I do not know what I'm having for dinner tonight, just to let you know. I don't know what my family's having for dinner for sure. And as the simpleton chef of the family, you'd think Rick would know. But I have a palette of possibilities, some easier and some harder, that after the workshop, I can choose. Now, if I'm present with my body right now, and you can try this, just be present with your body right now. And if it's an uncertainty, are there any things that your liver is asking for? Your liver's on your lower right side. Around the ribs, right side. Ask your liver, hey, is there anything you'd like tonight? Now, my liver says some hot tea toward bedtime. Now, that was not even on my, if I'm pretty certain about what I'm going to do today, that was not on my list. But by being free to tune in to parts of me, what would my brain like? Hot protein, probably beef. Oh yeah, my primitive brain goes, yep, not a lot. Don't overfill, but some. Yeah, my blood goes, yeah, that would be nice. Now, between now and an hour from now, my body, it's uncertain whether my body's going to stay in that mode, by the way. And if I'm present with my body now, when an hour has passed, I may get a different answer. But there's a cup that's filled by, I am free to listen to myself with more tenderness and responsiveness by being uncertain. If we look at anything that's uncertain, see if you can explore what energies are present when there's an uncertainty that bothers you. You really wish it was more certain. What is co-present? There's a term in energy work of co-presence, and I think that it goes to that multidimensional aspect of energy. The grass is greener over the septic tank, is a thing. And I think you had an expression
in Buddhism, they say no mud, no lotus. So if there's not the challenges and if we don't experience the negative things, we don't grow, we don't become stronger, better people. And there's no lotus. So the lotus grows in the mud. And if you have no mud, the things we don't like, we don't ever have this beautiful flower that comes from us. So the concept is having a cup. You don't have to have everything perfect. And I think a lot of my finger is pointing back to me. I want everything to just be just right. And then I'll be present. I'll be present when things are going well. But there's never a time in my life that everything has been perfect. I could delude myself that they have been, but there's not really truly a time when everything was perfect according to some script in my head. So if I can have a cup of, wow, these things are beautiful right this moment, and a cup of these are things that I don't especially like or want to avoid, and just be with what is. That's really powerful. When I don't want to, and it takes experience. And I know people that I've been, again, studying Buddhism, and there's people there that have been doing it for 50, 60, 70 years. And they're like, we're still learning every day. But it's like, oh, can I be with just what is right this minute without having it to be different, or for me to be okay, or for me to be present with it? Just what is. And as one of the people that I've been learning from, I really respect him. He's like, just because we're with what is doesn't mean we don't fight like hell to make the next moment different, but we are with this moment just as it is. And then we have more energy and more leverage to actually go, I'm really aware of what's there. How can I make the next moment better or different?
So being present, one of the things I notice about my AI, thrivingnow.com/Gus, is that whatever I bring to him that's kind of heady, the first suggestion is something like feet on the floor, hand on your heart. So uncertainty that is swimming around up here, see if you feel your feet, just the process of just noticing your feet, you're extending your awareness in your nervous system as far as it goes. The longest nerves are from your brain all the way down to your toes. And when you do that, see if the energy balance changes in your body. And as you take a breath in, I like the feeling of my hand sometimes over the collarbone point, sometimes over my heart. Take a breath in, let the exhale be a little longer. That sends a signal to your vagus nerve and your body. Hey, the uncertainty is not an immediate survival threat. And that can be a relief to your body. Just that alone is saying, I may be triggered like it's an immediate survival threat, but by putting my hand on my heart, feeling my toes, which our nervous system is designed to kind of disconnect from our lower body so that we can run faster than our tissues actually can do without damage away. Like it wants to be able to run, it wants to be able to fight beyond exhaustion, like what would normally be exhaustion. So there's a dissociative aspect to threat in our legs, the extended part of our family, our body. And by taking that and it's a pause, it's a powerful pause. There's a lot of energy savvy in taking that pause. Less of our chi is going to threat, and more of it can go toward resilience, responsiveness, resource. That practice, the more I do that practice, my daughter's upset about something. She's in the slamming doors phase. This is my fourth child who I've witnessed through the slamming door phase. So it's a thing. As an auditory sensitive person, it's not my first time. And I notice that my first reaction when the door slams is a kind of fight. I must stop this from ever happening again. And if I feel my feet, which my AI reminded me, feel my feet, hand on my heart, slow breath, exhale a little longer, maybe a sigh. can't believe it. There are some other things that light up. I have an emotionally powerful and expressive and unsuppressed daughter. I don't actually want a doormat. No, she's not a doormat. Oh, I can be in, look at me, fourth time through, I've got more capacity to allow that as an unartful, loud, and wish it was different kind of expression. And I like that being present with my family, even though I know if I go over and I try to knock on the door, I will hear the most amazing guttural grunt, go away noise. I really should record it, but in the interest of privacy and not embarrassing her, years from now. Maybe I should record it. Right. But what I can do is there's a part of me that doesn't want to get exhausted doing this, but there's a part of me that appreciates that I can hold a space, a wee space for my family where dysregulation is a reality. Along with the uncertainty, I don't know how to fix it. I'm really skilled at this stuff. I've been practicing it for 30 years. I do not know how. I know how to make it worse.
But I wonder if part of your job is to not fix it, to let her have the experience of being frustrated and work through. I think often when we're very capable people, we want to fix something versus like, oh, they're learning from this experience. They're having their own experience. It's impinging on my noise level and my brain thinks that I should fix it, but it's not anything for me to fix. It is their life experience, them exploring their world.
And if I'm present with it long enough, and I go a bit deeper then, and deeper in presence really is a sensation for me of like deepening, like you feel like, oh, okay. Is there something that is being called forth? And what I've noticed is it takes a certain amount of courage for me to go and reach out to her. But the courage rises naturally when it's time for me to do that. And that's the kind of subtle energy savvy that presence allows me to feel, not when she's going to accept me. That doesn't take any courage. If I knew 100% sure that it's time. But there's a rightness and like, oh, is there anything I can do for you? I'll be in the other room if you need me. If you want to reconnect or something. Something will come out of my mouth because I'm present. And the other night, she ran upstairs, slammed the door to her room, and her noises made me less present, but then I knew my job was, my intention was to go be present a little deeper. And I just kind of hung around in the hallway, not really waiting for her, but just holding space, kind of unwinding the tension that naturally rises in my body. And then there was a really palpable feeling of go in, offer a book. Would you like to read a book together? Yes, this one. It doesn't always work that way, but being present now means that if I'm not present, that whole dance becomes a trauma that I'm going to be processing later that evening after everyone goes to bed. I know my nervous system. I know myself. If it's traumatic to hear and feel the energy banging at me, which it is, but my reaction is, okay, this is not life or death. That is not the sound of her falling down the stairs, right? That's the sound of her being in distress. What can I do with that? No, I can be more present. It's not, and this spot behind the back of the head can be a place where you're just cradling your primitive brain and say, yeah, it's how she processes certain feelings. And hasn't been that long since I did it. And and that's where, again, I know I'm repeating it, but this is a concept that there's still an ongoing situation, which I really wish was not happening. There's uncertainty about what to do, if anything, how she's feeling. I know she's upset, but I don't even know about what. Maybe she doesn't even know about what. And there's a quality of, there's a quality of the difference between I must have done something wrong, or I must not have trained her right, or I must set, there's something's wrong here, versus, I'm not overreacting here. I'm appreciating, at least for this round, right this minute, I'm not in knee-jerk reaction. Now, if you want to be growing and thriving, that's an opportunity when you're present with it to nourish that part of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reading the chat and there's a lot of judgment. I wish I am a door slammer and I wish I wasn't. You wish Adira wasn't a door slammer. Like, we have a lot of judgments, like, oh, I don't like that about that person, or I don't like that about me. And someone shared the challenge. I thought it was really important to talk a little bit more. The person said the challenge and the uncertainty that came up, and from that moment of being present and asking my body what it needs, is a deeper not enough, not capable thought. That's not a feeling. It's a thought. It's a judgment. So there are 3 ways we avoid things, like in one perspective. We get into the future, we get anxious. We go in the past and we ruminate about what happened or what we wish different, or we judge things in the present. So if it's not a feeling to feel not capable or not enough. It's a thought. We may feel uncertain, we may feel scared, we may feel things like that, but we label it, I'm not enough. We label it, I'm not capable, or I shouldn't be a door slammer, or Adira shouldn't be a door slammer. Those are thoughts, not feelings. And we use our thoughts. There's nothing wrong with thoughts. We have them, but we use them to escape the actual feeling and going a little bit deeper and being with the feeling that's there. Because feeling, not feeling safe, not feeling capable, like feeling scared, it's not, we don't want to feel that. We want to avoid that. So the blame at ourselves or other people or the world, like, it should not be this way. Well, guess what? It is this way. It sucks sometimes, but it is this way. Can I be with the feelings I have and just honor them for this moment? And then maybe I'll have more presence, like Rick did, to like go, how do I want to try to make the next moment better? So I just think it's really important to make sure that the more we can differentiate the thoughts and the judgments we have versus what is my actual experience. In this moment, if I try to be present with myself, I might feel really uncertain and scared. I might feel that way, and I don't want to feel that. So can we just do a little tapping on I don't want to feel that? Because I think that's kind of the core of what's going on here.
I don't want to feel that, so I judge myself.
Karate chop, even though there's feelings going on.
Even though there are feelings going on.
Right in this moment.
Right in this moment.
And I do not want to feel them.
And I do not want to feel them.
I want to run away so hard.
I want to run away so hard.
There's some good ways to do that.
And there are some good ways to do that.
I'm going to judge the hell out of myself.
I'm going to judge the hell out of myself.
Top of that, I'm going to judge the hell out of them.
I'm going to judge the hell out of them.
I'm going to judge the things that are happening around me.
I'm going to judge the things around me that are happening.
Side of the head, I'm going to worry about the future.
I'm going to worry about the future.
Under the eye, I'm going to be frustrated about the past.
I'm going to be frustrated about the past.
Under the nose, that way I don't have to actually feel what's happening right now.
That way I do not have to feel what's happening right now.
And that feels too tender.
It feels too tender, too intense.
Collarbone. It's really frightening to feel what's happening right now.
It's really frightening to feel what's happening right now.
And the arm, but that's actually where I live.
But that's actually where I live.
Top of the head, it's the core of who I am.
It's the core of who I am.
I wonder if I could maybe try to be present a little bit with that.
I wonder if I could maybe try to be present a little bit with that.
And see who I am.
And see who I am.
Just invite you to take a breath. One of the things I'm discovering as I do this is I had very fixed ideas of who I was and how I should behave. And as I'm just getting more curious, I start feeling guilty. I'm like, oh, there's something I'm desiring that I think I shouldn't have. What is it? Oh, I want to go sit in the backyard. Why is that bad? It's not. I'm just start getting curious. I'm like, why can't I have that? Who am I actually versus who did I decide I was all those years ago? And I'm kind of keeping myself in that little corral.
So people that have a hard time with uncertainty tend to leap to things like, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not capable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to pick on it. Like, that's why I needed tapping. Because there were pathways that it's my fault I'm with this uncomfortable feeling. That must be my fault. There's relief in that. And if we acknowledge, I'm just not capable. Okay, I'm not capable. Even though I'm not capable.
Even though I'm not capable.
And that doesn't feel good.
And that doesn't feel good.
But it feels so certain. Thank goodness.
What's so certain?
I am not capable.
I am not capable.
Finally, some certainty.
Finally, some certainty. Someone to blame.
I can just be not capable.
I can just be not capable.
Or it'd be my fault.
It can be my fault.
I'm certain it must be my fault.
I am certain it must be my fault.
It's my fault.
It's my fault.
So much certainty there.
So much certainty there.
But that's a shortcut.
That is a shortcut.
The false certainty.
False certainty.
And it cuts me off from thriving.
It does cut me off from thriving.
And thriving matters to me.
And thriving matters to me.
I wonder what other ways I could look at this.
I wonder what other ways I could look at this.
If I started with an assumption that there's some truth.
If I started with the assumption that there's some truth.
What else is there?
What else is there?
And we're going to take a break in a minute, but I want to take these two because they're so common. Like, I'm not enough. As a shortcut, it stops things, right? It's like, I'm not enough. In emotional freedom work, you might tap on, even though I'm not enough, just like we did that, and then ask to do what or to be what?
Yeah, be specific.
I'm not enough to hold all of the trauma of all of my loved ones and make it better. And that fits not capable either, right? Like, as skilled as I am, I'm not capable of that. So if I'm listening to my buddy recount all the things that are going on in his and his family's life. And I'm noticing myself moving away from being present with him. Another flavor of that is there's nothing I can do. I feel helpless. If I could just say, well, I must not be good enough. I'm just not.
Telling yourself that you have to fix it versus, can I just be here and witness this and take care of myself as well?
Well, right. Like, so that goes to the cups of being present. And as I found myself kind of moving away from the hardship that he was feeling, coming back into presence and the simplicity that comes with being present. It doesn't, just like uncertainty, it's not easy, but there's a simplicity to being present. Like, oh, I can be present with this. And if I don't shortcut it, what happens if I don't have the certainty that I'm not good enough? Well, I might have some things that I can offer.
But I think being specific around that is what am I not good enough at? Because a lot of us just, myself included, blanket statement. And it's like, there's no way to fight it. It's like, oh, it's just a statement.
Right. That it takes us out of presence for sure. If you have your own favorite negative statement, and you use it, it's like, oh, okay. That's my shortcut. I'm shortcutting to what? It gives me a sense of certainty. It kind of releases my engagement. No, I just can't do that. But it could be an invitation to like enjoy what your next yes is, the micro yes, the micro step. It could be an opportunity to be like, yeah, I am wise enough to know that I am not actually capable of the grand solution that my primitive brain would like in order to make the world more certain and beautiful.
We want to be magical, fix everything.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to fix something special for me and my daughter to share today. Something that I'm going to stir in some love because I had that. Like, you can find things that like, well, am I not capable of having love at times for the people I care about? Start softening that pathway and coming into presence.
I wonder, just someone asked a question is, how can I be with feelings if I believe that they will destroy me? It's not true. The problem is when we were little, often these feelings felt so powerful and so overwhelming. And when we were little, they could destroy us. They were too much for us. We didn't have the experience, the skills, or the capacity to deal with them. So I think it's important to acknowledge that, hey, I was really smart when I was little. I knew this would be too much. I knew it would destroy me. And now I'm in a different space and I can get some support and get coaching. I can, whatever. I love going, I have a coach, therapist I work with, and I'll go and say, I'm having trouble facing this feeling. And he'll literally he's like, how many seconds do you want? And I'm like, let's try 10. He's like, okay, I want you to step in. I tell him when I start, he counts the seconds on his stopwatch. He says, now step. And sometimes I can't make it. I'm like, we're stopping now. But these little micro experiences when you have support help you rewire. They help rewire. Oh, I thought I would die. It felt terrible, but I've been really amazed at how quickly I grow into it. Like sometimes I can only do a second, and then the next time I can do 2, and then it's like, I'm never going to get through this. Okay, I can do 5. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh wait, I did 2 minutes. I had support, and now I'm home alone. Can I do 1 second again? It's a baby step forward. We have to rewire those patterns and those beliefs. And you can just practice gently. And I encourage you, get support. It's hard to dissolve trauma by yourself. It's really useful to do it with other people.
Right. We so appreciate you being here. We're going to take a 7-minute break, give ourselves a chance to be in the uncertainty of what we're going to do for the next 7 minutes. And so we're going to go ahead and pause.
Sounds great.
Welcome back. Let's take a breath. I'm noticing your breathing. If you can add one awareness, could be the sound of your breath. Could be how the muscles move in your body on the inhale and the exhale, kinesthetic. How it feels if you have your hand on your chest. How does it feel to your hand to be aware of your breath?
And if you're feeling anxiety or feeling like you want to rush through this, notice that. There's nothing wrong with having those feelings, or just be aware of them. When we fight them, we give them more energy, actually. Just noticed. I'm really hoping I can rush through this experience, or I'm feeling anxious about doing it right. I'm noticing that. It's okay too. It's just part of who you're experiencing this current moment.
Yeah. We have a participant that would like to join us and do some tapping and exploration. Asked to unmute. There we go.
Can you hear me okay?
I like the preference whether you focus with Kathy or myself.
Surprise me.
Certainty, that's lovely.
Kathy?
That's cool. Oh, so Linda, can you share a little more about what's coming up for you around this? I mean, everyone has very unique experiences, but they're all general to all of us too.
Right. So I practice presence daily, multiple times a day. And it involves breathing into my feelings because feelings were completely forbidden when I was growing up. So that is how and it's a great practice. And then there's a chain of events that I'm starting to understand a bit that leads to me no longer being able to feel or access my feelings because I shut down. And the chain of events seems to be something like this. I compare myself to others. It's Canadian Thanksgiving, so now it's families that are geographically more close and might even be functional. I compare myself and then I judge myself. And then this new feeling I'm always starting to recognize, which has been my power feeling for shutting down and for safety, which is shame. And I think that comes from the self-judgment. I feel shame. And the shame is a short circuit because then I feel shame about the shame. And the real challenge is I can't tell for a while. I don't know what I don't know. The lag time between when my breathing gets restricted, or I can't feel my feelings. I'm tight. I brace against feelings too. That's part of what I learned. So I think I even physically restrict my breathing. And I don't even know that I'm doing it for a while so recognizing it and getting past it are my challenges.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on noticing it, because you practiced enough that you're present enough to notice it. There's a lot of people that wouldn't even have this awareness of the pattern. So congratulations.
Thank you. But there is a lag time before I figure it out.
There always is. Rick and I talk about it's just shortening the lag time. We all have it. Okay. It's like, how quickly can I notice? And that takes practice. So the very fact you're recognizing it means you actually have a conscious basis on it. Often when these things first come up, we don't even notice what's happening. We're just like, I'm freaked out. I should never do this again because obviously it's bad because I freaked out. You've done it. You've persevered enough. Your courage has helped you get this awareness. So if you can, just kind of let in that you've made progress that some people never get to.
Thank you.
A lot of people run away when that constricted breathing is terrifying feeling. It's like, how am I not getting enough air? What's happening? So like, you didn't run away. You kept showing up for yourself. So congratulations. That's beautiful. Okay. And it sounds like your family of origin might have been somewhat toxic. Is that correct?
Somewhat. Yeah. With very, very toxic, yes. As far as emotions and being able to be present, it wasn't safe to be present.
So when you were younger, it wasn't safe. You were really smart to repress these feelings. Probably. I mean, if we're in a war zone, we don't sit down and meditate. We are like alert and paying attention to everything and like, trying to hide and everything. So in a toxic family, you did something very, very smart. And the problem is that your nervous system hasn't really been upgraded since then.
Yeah.
It still thinks that you're in the war zone, which is very common. It's what happens to humans. Can you think of a time when you were little, when you really were clear it wasn't safe to feel those feelings?
Yes. Do you want me to say what it was, or?
You can, but just like, can you identify the age, about what age you were?
I just can really clearly remember understanding that it was wrong. I was wrong because I had feelings. I wasn't supposed to have them. And so I was completely wrong, that definition of self-esteem being that you're fit for life. I wasn't fit for life because I had feelings and I wasn't supposed to have them.
About how old were you? Can you roughly?
I'm going to say tween, maybe tween.
Okay. So can you just imagine that little girl that you're here as an adult who's supported by this circle? Imagine that you could go back in time and see that teenager who was really struggling with this. Like, I am not fit for life. That feeling it's an intense feeling. Can you imagine being there with her and saying, "Hey, sweetheart, I'm here with you. Can I give you some insights? Can we do a little silly thing called tapping together?"
Yeah. I got my arm around her and behind her.
Love it. All right. So I'd love, if it feels okay to you, I'd love for you to tap on yourself now as the adult and imagine that you're tapping on that younger self, or she can tap on herself, but we're doing a parallel at the same time, inner tapping. So, and you're welcome to change the words as you like, okay? You're the boss here. So, karate chop. Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, sweetheart.
I know this is so tough.
I know this is so tough.
And I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I want you to know that you are doing an awesome job of surviving.
I want you to know you're doing an awesome job of surviving.
A lot of people would have cracked.
A lot of people would have cracked and given up.
And you figured out a way to get through.
And you figured out a way to get through.
Top of the head, it's a really tough path.
It was a really tough path.
Eyebrow, you had to decide you weren't worth surviving.
You had to decide you weren't worth survival.
Side of the eye, that those feelings were illegal.
That the feelings were illegal and wrong.
Under the eye, that tells you how tough this environment is.
It tells you how tough the environment was.
Under the nose, you're really brilliant.
You're really brilliant.
Shin, you figured out a way when no one else could figure out a way.
You figured out a way when no one else was figuring out a way.
Collarbone. And I'm so glad you survived.
And I'm so glad you survived.
Under the arm, it's been a tough path, though.
It has been a tough path.
Top of that, and I have such good news for you.
And I have such good news for you.
I vow you are so courageous.
You are so courageous. Courageous.
Yeah. Side of the eye and creative.
Okay.
Under the eye, that we made it through.
We made it through.
Under the nose, and we do not live in that toxic environment anymore.
And we do not live in that toxic environment at all.
Shin, you're holding on really tight to these principles.
You're holding on really tight to these principles.
Collarbone, they meant your survival back then.
They meant your survival back then.
Under the arm, but we don't have to hold on to them so tight anymore.
But we don't have to hold on to them so tight anymore.
Top of the head, we can actually look at the toxic environment.
We can actually look at the toxic environment.
Eyebrow, and realize that we had to tell stories to get through.
and realized we had to tell stories to get through.
What if we are worthwhile?
What if we are worthwhile?
What if our feelings are really okay?
What if our feelings are really okay?
That's really curious to me.
That's really curious to me.
Chin, I'm curious what you think about that.
Curious what you think about that.
Collarbone, would you be willing to give it a try?
Would you be willing to give it a try?
How does that feel to you?
How does that feel to you?
Just take a breath and just be with her. See if you can be curious and not decide for her what she's feeling. What do you notice?
Well, shutting down emotionally was the only path she could see.
Mhm.
The only safe path. And shame is such a, like, I'm in my 60s. I'm only starting to learn about it as an emotion. It's such a powerful, strong thing. So when you were talking about the emotions, I think that's the one that's the hardest to accept. That shame has a purpose, that shame is okay, that it's okay to feel it.
I'm curious, it absolutely is. And I think it was a very effective method of shutting down things, because if we have shame, we shut down. Can you ask her if some of that shame belonged to the family, not to you?
Well, I don't know. She doesn't know.
Okay.
I personally want to be able to welcome every feeling.
Mhm.
And I think it's the ones that I just don't feel safe welcoming, or just have too much judgment attached to them that are part of the shutdown.
Mhm. My thought is, and I invite you to try it on and take what you like. I do this for myself sometimes too. If you, just as an example, if you're ever at a restaurant with someone who's really drunk or loud or obnoxious and they're not feeling shame, if you watch, other people at other tables will get kind of embarrassed or red, or like they'll "Ugh." So if that person that's creating the shameful scenario doesn't accept the shame or blame, other people take it on. And I'm wondering if part of the reason that it's so hard for you to be with the shame is because your body knows not all of it's yours.
I know that I'm the only one who's really found a pathway back to their emotions in my family.
Yeah.
So, and I know one of my sisters is really back where I was when I was in my 20s, and she's older than I am. So I'm sorry if I can't, I don't have difficulty answering the question.
No, I just wanted to put that thought out there. You can try it on. And there's no like, this must be right. I was just curious because there really wasn't, you feel shame, and that's very common for people that grow up in toxic families. It's very common. But I don't hear anything that you did that you were taught to be ashamed of yourself. And you used that shame to shut yourself down, I think. Very smart. You had a lot of it. Why not use the resources that are there? But now you're having trouble feeling the shame. Do you want to just do a little tapping with her on?
And can I say, it occurred to me that the thing that I feel the shame is tied to is the place where I am unlike the rest of my family. People are all coupled off, for example, regardless of the cost of that coupling. Like, they will stay coupled regardless how unhappy it makes them, for example. So I'm the only one who is charting their own path. I'm enjoying being not with the person, for example, for a period of time, and so on. I don't know if that's...
So you feel shame about that you're different?
Yeah, because I didn't fit into the family as a kid, because I had feelings. And so now it's those points. I look for the points where I'm different, I guess.
Can we do a little tapping? And you can change
Yeah.
the. Tell me if it's not landing. And I invite you too to invite this younger self to tap along too. Even though I feel a lot of shame,
Oh, I feel a lot of shame.
I think I should be like them.
I don't know if I can say that.
Does part of you think I should be like them?
I guess the better parts of the way they are.
I feel shame because part of me thinks I should be like them.
Part of me thinks I should be like them.
And that's a survival mechanism.
And that's the survival mechanism.
We align to our families so that they care about us.
Realign to our families so that they care about us and we feel safe.
Yeah. In healthy families, there's room to have differences.
In a healthy family, there's room to have differences.
In toxic families, there is no room for that.
In toxic families, there's no room.
Up that I was taught to be ashamed for my differences.
I was taught to feel ashamed of my differences.
I wrote, those differences are really my superpower.
I actually believe that my differences are my superpower.
Side of the eye. But part of me adopted the shame they taught me.
But part of me adopted the shame they taught me, for sure.
Under the eye. It's really hard to be present with that shame.
It is very hard to be present with that shame.
Under the nose, I wonder what lessons are underneath the shame.
I wonder what lessons are under that shame.
Shame, I wonder if this teenager can help me with that.
I wonder if this teenager can help me.
Color one, she's really clever.
Oh, a smart cookie.
Under the I was taught to feel ashamed for being different.
I was taught to feel ashamed for being different.
Top of that, but actually kind of celebrate it too.
But I do absolutely celebrate it as well.
And just take a breath. And see if you can imagine just enjoying the fact that you're different without having to feel so much shame.
I do often do that.
Good. And it's not a demand on my part. It's just like wondering what that would feel like for you. And if you're able to feel that, sometimes that's great.
Yeah. 90% of the time, I go along and it's all great, and then this stuff comes in.
Yeah. So I wondered if you can be curious. I imagine, and many of us do this, we have scripts about feelings, and the pathways, when they're really heavily used, they become myelinated, which is like superhighways. They happen so fast, we don't even realize the thought patterns. So I imagine when you feel shame, I'm guessing, there's a loop that's happening and if you can, even just for a couple seconds, be with the shame and be like curious about the thoughts that are going through your head. And once you start getting some conscious thoughts so you can grab them, you get a lot more power over them. Often they're ridiculous. We'd be like, no, I would never think this if I could capture the thought as it was happening. So I'm curious if that might work.
Yeah, for other maybe it's partly because the shame is new for me to even recognize at all. But I almost feel like I go into fight or flight or freeze almost immediately, and so that fog just comes in right away.
That's very common. And if you're having the restricted breathing, that matches with the fight or flight, like wanting to run, wanting to escape.
So is maybe part of it that this particular emotion is new for me to do?
Definitely. We build up tolerance and skill with something when we're allowed to feel it more. Can we just do a tapping round on that? And
Absolutely.
Karate chop. Even though I get this restricted breathing,
when I try to feel this feeling,
I still love and accept myself.
Even
though I kind of judge myself for getting this restricted breathing.
Even though I absolutely dislike myself for having restricted breathing.
And that probably doesn't help me feel less.
That doesn't help me.
I still want to love and accept myself when I have these feelings. Top of that, I have really good reasons to have these feelings.
I
wrote, no wonder I want to flee or fight.
No wonder I want to flee or fight.
So yeah, my body's trying to help me do that.
my body is trying to accelerate the process.
Yeah. Under the eye. Thank you so much, body.
Thank you, body, for keeping me safe in your way.
Under the nose. I hate that you do it.
It's not helpful, but
I understand the intention is good.
I understand the intention is good.
Collarbone. And I'm willing to be with these feelings.
And I'm willing to be with these feelings.
Under the arm, a little at a time.
A little at a time.
Top of the head, I worked through worse things.
I worked through much worse things.
And I'm going to be okay.
I'm going to be okay.
Just take a breath. What are you noticing there?
Oh, it feels really hopeful. Like, yeah, I really want to appreciate the power behind the reason behind the power behind the reason behind the shame and the energy behind it and all of that, and be able to do what I do with other feelings, which is feel them and watch them move on. And to have hope that I can do that with such a big, powerful emotion is really great.
Think of the muscles you'll have after you keep working on this.
Yeah.
And I think if you invite that teenager into this when you do it, that can give you access to your subconscious, and it can give you a lot of power, because that part of you is like a nexus node. When something was decided, there's a lot of power there. So if when you're meditating or being present with the shame, you can invite her to help you, I think you'll find that, one, it keeps you and it keeps the adult and the child part separate. So you have a little more adult power. Well, it gives you more direct access to your subconscious that's working on this. So I'm curious if that might help you some.
Yeah, I really want to try that.
Great. Nice work. Thank you so much for sharing
Great.
this.
Thank you so much for taking me through that.
Please be gentle with yourself. This is a lot of work, really deep work. So drink some water, get some rest afterwards.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Kathy. And, I so appreciate this opportunity to recognize and honor that when we start with presence practice, there are things that are they're easier for us. And then sometimes those easy things, it's really helpful as a skill to go back to. For me, when I was learning to be with my senses, what was going on inside of me, my teacher suggested mindful eating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other day I was at Whole Foods, don't have any kids with me, bought myself a tiramisu. Mm-hmm. Walk outside, have my spoon, and the first 3 bites, I can't actually tell you what they tasted like.
You're just like inhaling it.
I was like, this is my opportunity. Like I was in
The children
rush of scarfing. And, when you're about to teach a class on being present, and it was just like, hello, student Rick. It's like, oh. So I looked at it, and what was astounding is the next 3 bites had texture and hints of taste that I would normally have missed. An aftertaste that I would have missed if I ate more than 3 bites all the way to the end. And guess what? It was done. And I find that that's true if my daughter brings a book over and goes, read to me. It's like, wait a minute, where's my respectful tone? It may take me a few pages to get into like, oh, pause, mindful presence. Really feels nice to have her leaning against me, I have an adult daughter, and it's been a while since she was she was here for my birthday, and we leaned against each other and brought back a lot of memories. And that's, I believe, part of the real promise of presence is, yeah, okay, so there's going to be some of the septic or the shame or other things or the judgments that just as soon as you're in your body. And there's other things too. And so from an invitation standpoint, there are things that you do every day that I imagine have a lot more potential for depth or enjoyment. The shower that I took before this session filled a number of different cups. The sense of luxury of having hot water. My primitive brain really actually likes hot water, that I didn't have to build the fire to heat up. My primitive brain thinks, you gotta. And the feel of the soap. I remember there were times when I was mostly in stress where that kind of invitation would be like, you have no clue, Rick. Shut up. My younger self that I sometimes tap into really would have a very negative attitude about that invitation. But he didn't have tapping and he didn't have me. And I continue to go back in time and say, there really isn't a rush here. We're allowed to be 10 minutes late for this event. It's not a door of a plane that's leaving, and it's there's flex here.
And also,
and if I allow,
like, I can be a little bit present. That's still good. I don't have to be deep in it all the time.
Right. And the essential for me, which I continue to practice as Linda mentioned too, it's to come back, check in, and to see like, oh, this is actually cold against my fingertips. And it's a little warm in here. The heat is up a little high. Oh. Now, if I was just trying to quench my mouth because my mouth needs quenching, that's different than, okay, my mouth needed some liquid. And there's this sensation that I'm aware of now. And that's my invitation and my hope is that in our day-to-day that we find opportunities that we're going to be doing this anyway. What if there's more that matters to me in this experience? That if I become more present, if I'm being more present now, I'll have access to it. It may be subtle. It may be something you wouldn't have noticed otherwise. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Kathy.
I really appreciate everyone being here. Great topic. Thanks, Rick.
Mm-hmm. Bye for now.